We saved it for the last segment of your appearance on the show, Terrell, because we know that this is your team. So I want you to go first. Will the Broncos bounce back next season? They have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, you worry about the Eagles.
You were very high on the Broncos, as was Drew here. He's wearing a Broncos jacket and a Dolphins beanie right now.
I had to show love to my 2 L's.
Crazy.
What do you mean no spine?
I respect that.
No,
How you respect it and say no spine?
No, the no spine.
No, because the 2 L's I get.
That's what I'm saying. I had to sit here and
Miami had his W.
Thank
So,
you.
Terrell, are the Broncos bouncing back next season?
Yeah, talk about that real fraud.
I look. I got a little steam from Rev off the Eagles tape. He ain't like that. But the Broncos are in hell. We are not bouncing back.
Oh man,
next year?
No.
Oh no, he's
not a chance. There is not. I don't see us winning more than 7 games for the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh, damn.
But the one thing that I will say is last night, Russ looked different than we've seen all year. We could, the biggest issue, just to take y'all back real quick, and I'm not an NFL insider. I'm so glad y'all didn't have me on last week because I was like, damn, I got to follow up the dude that be in locker rooms. I'm just a regular fan like everybody else. But this is what I will say. I've been a Broncos fan 24 years. I've been blessed to see all of our Super Bowls with my own 2.
That's lit.
In 2020,
the last Super Bowl?
No, I'm thinking about the Teddy Bridgewater years. Basically, the last couple years we done had Teddy, right?
Last year.
Matter of fact, going back to last year, we knew that the problem in Denver is that we cannot score points. We averaged 17 points a game. It was like, look, if we could just get a QB, we got a dope defense. Our defense was top 5. We had a solid receiving core, and I'm going to talk about the injuries in a second because when they was doing them goddamn TikToks, I said, hopefully y'all ass stay healthy since y'all doing all of this TikTok in the damn before the preseason. Everybody ends up getting hurt. Anyway, motherfucking damn Teddy Bridgewater only averaged around 17 points a game. So given everything we had, McManus he's a Super Bowl winning kicker, right? His leg, it ended up being not what we thought it was. Pause.
No, you're right. But no, he's really not been good this year.
He has not been elite. But this is my thing. When we got Russ, like Drew, it was Russell Wilson. Like we thought back, we finally got the QB because we're not Seattle. But I'm gonna tell you where the shit went left, and this is where we have the most sharpest L of the year. We didn't play Russ the entire preseason at all. He didn't play a snap. And I said, you know what? Hold up. We need to see something from him before we just gonna throw him out there against Seattle on Monday night.
That's a fact.
Against 12. And so I said it on my podcast, Mallory Bros Podcast, we do the worst sport takes. So if you get tired of the great sport takes here, come listen to our bullshit at the end. But I said on my podcast, I was like, yo, if we go out here against Seattle and score 16 points and win 16-13, that's not a good sign. We went out there, Joe, and lost. And I said, you know what? We done fucked up. And this is where everybody loves George Payton, but I don't know if I can forgive him for this contract before we saw a snap. 5 years, because now we're stuck. And the reason why I don't think we're going to be a bounce back team is because we got the 1 pick from Miami for Chubb. But I just don't see where we're going to bounce back. These are a couple of issues that I have with the Broncos. Number 1, Russ, and I hate to say this with Joel sitting there. I can't see him, but I know he's going to be cheesing. I hate this. Joel was right about Russ. And I hate to say that. I really hate that. But he was right about Russ. He does not see the middle of the field. He's scared to get hit. So he takes way more sacks than young Russ. I guess he's trying to, preserve his body, whatever. But some of these sacks are like, all right, Russ, Give us a little K1. Give us some Lamar. Give us some you elusive. Give us what you do on Madden where they need to lower your fucking rating because you can't do that.
We saw that. We saw it yesterday.
We saw a little bit of it yesterday.
We saw a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, 79.
We did see a little bit of that yesterday, and that's the only thing that got me thinking, you know what? Maybe if we just get Nathaniel Hackett's ass out of town,
adios,
then we'll be all right. But if we can't keep that bust list under control with the injuries, it is ridiculous. Our entire team, we had all new starters on the O-line yesterday. It was ridiculous. It is just bad what we have to work with, and this happens every single year. We started the year with Judy, Patrick, Sutton, KJ, who disappeared. But, I mean, I just don't see us bouncing back. We got that one pick. Who do we draft? We get somebody for the O-line? Cool. What's going to happen when motherfucking Luke Wattenberg, the fourth string, he's not even ready to play yet, has to start because two people get injured. Our coaching staff, and I don't know what y'all thought about us hiring Nathaniel Hackett. I think 100% we did that shit to get A-Rod, and then A-Rod said, fuck y'all, I'm staying here, but we were stuck there, so then we get Russ. But Hackett, I thought for sure we was going to get Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn, somebody like that from Dallas. But I just don't see how we bounce back. Somebody tell me how we go out there and we beat the Chiefs. Because at the end of the day, now we average 14 points a game. Maybe it's probably higher because of yesterday. But shit, it has been a painful, painful year. We thought everybody else that got a quarterback, like my brother's a Washington fan. He got Carson Wentz and knew they wasn't going to be shit. And now look at that. He thought for sure this is about to be the worst season ever. Now look at what they doing. But the difference between us is me and Drew thought we was getting a motherfucking ring this year. We said ain't nobody gonna beat us. We going 13-3, 4. We probably might split with the Chiefs, split with the Chargers, split with the Raiders. We lost and then for the Chiefs to beat us 10 times in a row and kick us out of contention. I want to drive to Kansas City and just find Mahomes. And we just got to shoot the fade. Even if I lose, he's in way better shape than me. I just need to get that. I hate this man. But, I've been rapping. I'm going to let y'all go. What do y'all think? Y'all the experts.
Real quick before you go, the one positive from yesterday's game, Judy looked great. Jerry Judy looked really good.
He did.
He looked good.
What happens when you put bro at the X? When you put bro at the X, that's what happens.
When Judy's healthy, he's been pretty good this year.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Judy.
Okay.
Yeah, Judy. He was dropping passes in the beginning of the year
for sure,
and that was a little bit of. Now it's Cortland Sutton who was supposed to be this elite guy that I don't think I don't know. I don't know, Cortland. We waiting for Tim Patrick to come back because
Timmy's
you've
him.
Been dropping passes.
Timmy's him. All right, I'll tell you what, T. This is why I feel a little bit more optimistic.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of injuries on this team. On the offensive line, we lose Garrett Bowles. Don Risner just missed this past week. Lloyd Cushenberry, our starting center, has been out as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot going against us. No Javonte Williams, torn ACL early in the season. You mentioned it. Timmy, he's missed dearly.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even get to play a game this year. Jerry Jeudy missed some time. Cortland just missed this past weekend. It's just not been a lot going in our favor, on top of the fact that Russ is just not who we thought that he was going to be, we being Terrell and myself. And, we're not the only people in the world that thought that Russell was going to come in and be a superstar with Denver. But what gives me optimism is that our defense is still one of the best in the league. Top 4 in terms of least points given up per game. Top 7 in terms of yards given up per game. And we dropped down a little bit because we just gave up over 300 yards to the Chiefs. But even still, our defense came to play and gave us a chance in this game. What leaves me optimistic is what I saw yesterday. Russ looked good. And not only did he look good throwing the football, although he did have that INT for a return touchdown. It was 4th and 1, unfortunate play, honestly. But he showed resilience, and he showed athleticism. Athleticism that I thought was dead. And I say I thought because that's what I was told. But it's not dead. It's due to circumstance and being mindful. He's getting older. He's got to be more cognitive of picking and choosing when he's going to use his legs. Yes, he probably should have used it a little bit earlier, but this season's been in the dumps. He wanted to beat Kansas City. He understood what that game meant to Broncos fans. It would have been nice for him to pull it out. It's super unfortunate that he got forced out of the game. Prayers to Russell Wilson, of course, hoping that he's back this weekend.
Right.
But I'm optimistic because our defense is great, and we have a primary focus now. Fix the offense. That's really been our primary focus for the last couple of off seasons for sure. But the concern was coming into this year, not the offense. What is the defense going to do? And now, surprisingly enough, we're stuck in the same position. Fix the offense, but you have the quarterback. Whether people think that he's done or not, you may think he's done. You may think he's done. People may think he's done. But Russell still has something to prove. We increased the talent level on our offense, hopefully get a little more healthy on that aspect of things. We get another weapon on the outside. We bring in a different offensive mind because I don't need Nathaniel Hackett calling games for us anymore, honestly. Although he called a decent game plan this past weekend against the Chiefs. This meant a lot to us. I'm optimistic just because of our defense and the things that we can do this offseason to better the offense.
For me, my problem, walking into this year, the situation for me was, how was the offense going to look? What was it going to be? I feel like they had a lack of weapons on the offense. And now, towards the end of the year, it's, will the quarterback be good? Will they bring in a head coach? Can the receivers be consistent enough to make plays? What is Javonte going to look like coming back from an injury? How's the offensive line going to look? So it's now stems more problems before this year as opposed to coming into next year. Defensively, you guys are amazing. You guys are usually always amazing on the defensive end. Your problem was before this year to get a quarterback. Your problem is still, what is the quarterback position? Whether Russ comes back and beats that guy, we don't know. You know, he's only getting older, so we'll see. The receivers,
34.
Yeah, well, he's only getting older. You know, so we'll see. But can they bounce back? I don't know. The Chiefs are still going to be there.
They are.
The Chargers, I feel like they're a coach away. I feel like they can retool and they're a coach away.
You're not a Staley guy?
They can never stay healthy.
Understandably so. He's all right.
Yep.
The Raiders
are going to be better, right?
The Raiders, I think, will be better. You know, I think, you know, they should be better. They choke a lot. But then you still have the Bengals. You still have the Bills. Miami's now here. If Baltimore keeps Lamar, they will still be competitive.
He's going to New York.
Can I get there?
Oh, sorry.
The Jets. Even the Patriots are better than you guys right now. So that's another team. So it's like the AFC is a tough conference. A lot of teams. So with this, like he said, you guys paid Russ. You're pretty much stuck with him for this moment. So you have to hope and pray he will get back to even maybe not that 40 touchdown Russ, but just an efficient, effective Russ. And then you need Judy to be consistent. You cannot keep dropping the ball. You need Sutton to get back to that 1K Sutton, that real Dom Sutton. You need Javonte Williams to come back and be that dog in the pass catch, in the running the game. And then you need a good offensive line. And that's a lot to ask for, but you know, with the AFC the way it's looking, I don't think you personally would bounce back in 1 year. I don't think it'll happen next year. Maybe in like 2 years you fix up a little bit more. But I don't think the Broncos will bounce back. I think you'll be at the bottom of the AFC again.
When you say bounce back, we're talking playoffs? 9 wins?
That's what bounce back means. If you don't make the playoffs.
Well, they haven't made the whole
playoffs. The whole thing is to make the playoffs.
Well, didn't they win like 8 last year?
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, so. But I think the biggest issue here is you're paying Russ superstar quarterback, franchise quarterback money, and you're hoping he could be an efficient game manager. I mean, at this point in Russ's career, right now you're hoping. I understand. Listen, Russ was exceptional against the Chiefs, but if you take the entire season into account, he's been pretty bad, right? He's been really, really bad. So it's very hard to make the playoffs, win multiple playoff games when an efficient game manager is going to be getting top 5 quarterback money, because that's going to, it's going to hold back where you could spend the rest of your cap money to bring in free agents to fill up other holes. And you traded away a ton of draft picks. I mean, that pick you gave up is probably going to be top 5. Obviously, without Russ, you have that pick, and then you still have a quarterback situation here. But looking at the holes you have on your team, which is weird because it doesn't seem like you have a ton. The line's been, and it's really been lots of injuries like you guys have talked about. But my biggest issue is having to have all of this money tied up to Russ and hoping he can carry you to victories, because when you're paying a quarterback $250 million, you're saying there's going to be 5 or 6 games this year that is not going to go our way. The play calling is not going to be great. The receivers aren't going to get open. Guys are going to be hurt, but you have to win this game. Yep. That's what you're doing when you're paying a quarterback this type of money. And what Russ has showed us this year is that he's not capable of winning you 5 or 6 games. Can he get you a game or 2? Yeah, probably. But again, we're getting back to efficient game manager, almost to like a Tua level where he could put up great numbers, but is he going to be able to win you these games when things aren't going his way? That's the biggest question we have about Tua right now. So for the Broncos, it's really going to be figuring out that perfect head coach who you can find, who you can compare with or pair up with Russell Wilson to get the most out of him. We've seen it with a bunch of OCs and head coaches this year, whether it's Mike McDaniel, whether it's Nick Sirianni with Jalen Hurts in year 2 of the system. We see offensive coordinators and head coach being able to, make quarterbacks a better versions of themselves. And we thought Russell Wilson would be able to elevate Nathaniel Hackett. But going into this offseason, you have to find a head coach that's going to be able to elevate Russell Wilson and this offense because the defense is there already. Now you got to get the offense up to speed because being in the same conversation as the 0-16 Browns offensively, you're not going to the playoffs. I don't know if you even finish third in the division if the offense is this bad again. And it really sucks to, really waste this defense year after year when the offense has been holding you back.
I want to shout out Russell Wilson because he finally got 12 touchdowns on the season, which means that he has the same amount of touchdowns as bathrooms in his house.
Jesus.
That's always a good milestone to get. I feel like that in itself is a good thing to overachieve and overcome.
He has 12 bathrooms in his house?
He does.
For what?
Oh, the future's kids.
This may be surprising.
Take it easy. It's one child from future. Goodness.
This may be surprising. The Broncos will bounce back next season.
We don't want you.
Wow.
They're going to bounce back next season. And this is
you.
why. Russell Wilson this year has been a bottom 5 quarterback statistically across the board. The Broncos have a ton of injuries. Tim Patrick got hurt. Javonte Williams. Cortland Sutton is out right now. Injuries on the offensive line. Randy Gregory missed a handful of games.
Justin Simmons missed a handful of games.
Justin Simmons. They've had injury after injury after injury. I think a large part of that is due to Nathaniel Hackett's off-season plan for this team. He was never built to be a head coach. The fact he got that job was more of a disgrace than Jeff Saturday getting the job. And I think a better coach will come into Denver and will implement a system that makes the Dolphins at least average on offense. The Broncos, Broncos, my bad. I'm looking at your hat.
Oh, good.
The Broncos defense will be one of the best in the NFL. If they can get Russell Wilson to just be 50% of what he once was, and they can manage the offense and run it through Javonte Williams and be a run-heavy offense, this team is going to be a playoff team. For me, I have no doubt in my mind that that can happen. And Russell Wilson, there has not been a time I remember that a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback has fallen off this much. So I'm going to bet on Russell Wilson bouncing back from this. I don't think he's going to stay this bad. With that being said, the contract was still a massive overpay. And if you guys do win and have success, I think Russ will be probably 3rd or 4th on the reasons why list. But I think the Broncos will bounce back next year.
So
I do.
Make the playoffs?
Just can't have the worst offense.
They'll be in the hunt. The AFC is loaded. I'm not going to make a playoff prediction right now, but the Broncos have some money to play with in the offseason. They can make a move or two. If they draft well, that's going to be huge.
Am I crazy for wanting Bijan?
They're going to be good.
You're not crazy, no. It's a game changer.
Especially for how versatile he is.
Definitely
that
game
would
changer.
definitely be intriguing to me.
Yeah.